Good evening and welcome to yet another broadcast here at CAVOK Racing Network. And tonight we have a special one for you. We're going here in Circus de Gilles Villeneuve for our Alpha Touring Challenge. And of course, I'm not going to do this all by myself. I have Peter Lee here in the booth. Peter, how are you doing?
Thank you, Pim. I'm doing great. Really love this track in Montreal. I think it's going to be a huge challenge for these Alpha Touring cars. Can hardly wait to see what they do.
Yeah, I know, definitely. And I think we're already having the qualifications in the background. So great to see some drivers going around. Before we do that, we had a great race last week. It goes very quickly. And I do want to have a quick look at the standings. Maybe good to show them a little bit how the standings currently are. We see with 5 races, Logan McKenzie on the front, 203 points. After him is Francois Schink, and then Jérôme Barjolas has some good races, had some bad races, but is still on that podium over there and can easily grab that second spot from Francois Schink. After that, we see Cody Huntley, 155 points, and then the Slug, even with not finishing last race, he is still on that 5th position and in for a podium spot over there. James Carr, 7th, and then Matthew Zepka. I know, Peter, you've been rooting for him a long time. He wasn't there last race, so he dropped a little bit back to number 8, and then after him is Jacob Wally. Justin Rhodes, one of my favorite drivers, I have to say, like his style. Hope to see what he can do over here. And then Aaron La, team member of Matka Zepka, and David Bauer, Sean Gurt, and Ronald Madhot, who are also team members. Because, Peter, team members are also a part in here.
They certainly are. And, in the team standings, Yellow Flag Motorsports today just has a tremendous grip on that first place. That's the team with the Slug and Logan McKenzie. But, there's a pretty good fight for P2, P, and P3. With Torque Steer Racing in second place, Gasparilla Motorsport in third, and Beaver Buzz in fourth. And so, all of these drivers are fighting not only for their individual standings in the season, but also the team standings. Em, I don't know if you've had a technical difficulty. I'm not hearing.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's a button. You call that mute. And great to have that. I was saying that I didn't expect the Slug actually to be that quick because I saw him in practice and he wasn't there yet. But I think he made it all together, and we'll look at that, the 1:44.9. He is already into the pit, so I'm not sure why he's not out there anymore. We're in the last laps. I'm currently driving along with Jérôme Barjolas. Curious to see if he can go up any further. He's currently in a 5th position.
Yeah, Jerome will be able to finish this lap. He's crossing with just 20 seconds left in the qualifying to finish this flying lap. This left right-hander is incredibly challenging. We've been seeing drivers just understeering badly on that right-hander. And then as they come to the Concorde Bridge, the Pont de la Concorde here, we have another right-left chicane. Again, another place where we've seen cars struggling to stay on the track. And so all of this sort of front section with these twisty left-right-handers, another one here as they go left and right in through turn 7. It just is going to really challenge the front drive grip of these touring cars. But now, as they come to the back straights here through 8 and 9, they take the hairpin at 10, and they come to perhaps the longest straight that the Alpha Touring Challenge will have all season, the Droit du Casino. Right of the casino, and it is going to be a huge draft zone for these cars, and we know that these cars really love to have the draft, and this is really going to be a prime spot as they come up to the Quebec wall and see if they can get a run, get a good tow, and outbrake the person ahead.
Yeah, Jerome is going actually into the pit, so we're not gonna see him anymore. So I think that we do have our qualification list up here. One name that is quite relatively new to this league, we know him from the Sunday Night Skippy, is Alex Alton. He's currently in an 8th position, so great to see him up there. Ray Bartnikowski, 12th position, really good from him over there. A couple of people who didn't qualify. A little bit strange. Curious to see what happened with them.
Well, in fact, August Wandel, who's Josh Wally, those are, we know that they're fast drivers. Nick Beaver is a new name in the league, so we don't quite have a beat on him. But we would expect both Joshua and August to work their way up through the field here.
Yeah, we've seen that before. Currently, the Yellow Flag Motorsports is doing again a really good start of this race. Look at that, both in the front over there. The Slug on number 1 and Logan right behind him for 2.0 seconds or 0.2 seconds behind him. So great job. But what about David Bauer? 3rd position. Great to see him so high up in the ranking. I think he practiced this track a lot, and that helps. François Schenk on 4th position, and then Jérôme Barjolas. The top 5 that we expect with François Schenk and Barjolas over there. But look out for James Carr. He was really fast in the qualifications. He's currently in the practice. Man, it's already late at night, and let's have a look. Aaron La, Willie Cox, Ronald Mathot, and Matt Zepka on the 10th position. Heard that Matt couldn't practice that much, so that will cost him a little bit. But curious to see if he can practice some more in the track and get ready for it. I'm actually seeing all the cars already on the track, Peter.
Yeah, they're getting ready it'll be a short pace, not a full lap, just the Droit du Casino straight, and then they'll see the pace car go into the pits at the Quebec wall, and the cars will be free to take the lead of the pole sitter, the Slug. And thing to watch out for.
What's happening with Jérôme Barjolas?
Oh. This is a track that traditionally has had a lot of lap 1 incidents.
Well, look at this. It's going to be very weird, Peter, because they already have a field that's completely open. And I am curious what they're going to do about this, because this is going to have impact on the cars already.
Looks like they're catching up. They're forming a grid, looks like.
All right. Well, we do see that the Slug immediately goes away over there. And we do get them all pretty much all covered in there. But that was a weird start in the beginning of this lap. The Slug is
now treacherous turns 1 and 2. Let's hope that the cars survive.
Yeah, we do see already some people making a move. I see Ronald Mathot doing a great overtake over there. All goes very cleanly. Matt Zepka has some issues over there, because he sees a couple of guys who are trying to go on the inside.
We do have Nick Beaver seems to have gone off in turn 3. I don't know if his car is damaged, but the rest of the field has made it through and is now approaching the turn 8 right-left chicane.
Well, there was carnage promised to me in the first lap, but so far it's done very nicely. And if you look at the track map, it's all one big line over here.
Indeed it is. And this line is going to be very meaningful as they hit the turn 11 hairpin, and then this exceptionally long straight. It's really a straight of close to a mile in total length.
Yeah, the Slug is already taking some distance in this first lap. It's 0.7 seconds in front of Logan McKenzie. And after that, it's just one big line, as you can see. Now we get to this last final chicane, really treacherous, that famous wall that we have over there, but it seems that everybody goes into that. It looks all fine to me.
Yes, everyone survived the Quebec wall and surviving lap number 1 without major incident.
Yeah, you know, when we say that, then there's always something happening, but we don't want to, especially when it's an hour race. You do want to have clean laps over here. You need to have clean laps. But look currently at the slug. He's going for it, and Logan McKenzie is getting a little bit back. François Schinke is holding on, but then already we see a small little gap over there. And David Bauer is holding on and needs to look constantly in his back mirrors. James Carr is right behind there, together with Jerome Bajolas. And I also see Aaron La. Wiley Cox is following along, losing a little bit of momentum over there.
I'm watching a battle for P13. Ray Bartnikowski is holding on to it, but Alex Othon, and you know, Pim, we know both Ray and Alex as Skip Barber Formula 2000 drivers, but here they are in touring cars, really battling each other. Looks like Ray got a great jump out of turn 8 and is now starting to pressure Alexander Carver-Robb.
Oh, I think I found my new favorite livery. That tight livery is cool. Alton is really doing a well job on his liveries always, and this is a nice one. He has, I think that's Daniel Smith behind him, and then I recognize Sean Gert because of that Gasparelli car livery over there. But it's one big line over here.
You know, back up front, it looks like François Schinke is trying to make a move now on Logan McKenzie for that P2, and they're bumping doors coming into turn 1. That should help the slug maintain his lead, and indeed it does, but Logan...
Aaron Law was going off track over there. I'm not sure if you saw that one. But we see now more pushing and shoving a little bit. We're in lap 3. And then you see really what's happening, because they're now going side by side, Ray Bartnikowski and Daniel Smith. Ray is a little bit earlier, and next behind him is the Gert and Alton.
It does look like Aaron Law is in the midst of a tow, so he must have sustained some damage. That's unfortunate for him.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't hoping that much. Let's have a quick look what exactly happened, because they went in over there, and... yeah, I don't think he saw the person next to him, Bajolas. There wasn't that much damage, but he takes the safe route and lands on the middle track over there. And look at that, I don't think that Ray Bartnikowski and Daniel Smith are finished yet for that 12th position, because Ray looks very feisty over there.
Indeed, he is really trying to charge up the field and really making some moves, holding down a very, very strong P13 at the moment. A little further back, you know, Sean Gert in P14, you know, is also just trying to gap himself from Dom Savio and Eric Statzer right behind him.
Yeah,
and, you know,
Peter,
yeah,
we have a team member, a name of your in here. Pete Mobrotten was asking who he should think should root for. Who do you would pick him?
You know, as you mentioned at the race start, I have a soft spot in my heart for Matt Shupka, and you know, Matt and I trade lots of notes. In fact, just today we were trading notes on pit strategies, refueling. And so I always am pulling for him.
And I do have to say, Matt has a really shown us some great performance in this car. Has really moved up from being a newcomer last season to actually being a championship contender. And with drop weeks in there, I'm curious to see what we can expect from him. Currently on an 8th position, but realize he didn't practice that much, so this is really good for him. And if he can hold on to Wiley Cox and Jerome Bajolas and James Carr, then yeah, that's a good start. And he will see a little bit of Ronald Medhot behind him, pushing over there.
Yeah, we are starting to see maybe three main packs. We have this lead pack with the Slug, Logan McKenzie, Francois Schink. Then we have a much larger pack, starting with David Bauer in P4 and going pretty much all the way back to Justin Rhodes, holding down P10. And then we have Alexander Carver-Robb in P11, and he's leading a pack that's really going all the way to the end of the field. And so, we're starting to see that happen. These drivers will be desperate to try to stay in each other's draft, or if you're in the lead of one of these packs, to lose.
Yeah, well, you say that. We do see here in the front, Francois Schink and Logan McKenzie are going at it, and Logan McKenzie lose that position on Francois Schink. What a great overtaking did that over there. That is an opportunity right in that first chicane or in that first corner section, and then it's difficult here to overtake because there is, I do think, only one line, and Logan McKenzie is right behind Francois Schink. But while they're doing this, the Slug is just running away. Look at that, 2 seconds. We're 5 laps in. Are these guys are going to start fighting?
Yeah, Logan McKenzie just tapped the rear bumper of Francois Schink. To my eye, it looks like Logan McKenzie's car is much faster in this twisty back section, the kind of front half of the course. But then Francois Schink seems to have the advantage on the long straights. So Francois might be running with a little bit less downforce than Logan. That'll set up a really interesting battle lap by lap between these two.
Yeah, and we do see that Wiley Cox is now getting really close to Matt Zepka, but Matt is closing the door, and right behind there, Ronald Method and my favorite driver, Justin T. Rhodes, are fighting and battling it out over here. Look at it side by side, and Justin makes that happen, or at least he can save that place. Great from him, and there is somebody mentioning in the chat, and I do think that's important for a 1 hour race. We do have the nine incidents, maximum incidents, before you get a drive-through penalty, and that's going to be a big difference. You can't have too many incidents going along. Yeah. And look at this.
The track and the iRacing service that is pretty strict on off-track incident points, and so it will definitely play a role in a 1 hour race for sure.
Look at this, Logan McKenzie getting really close, and the battle behind there is also heating up. James Carr and Jerome Bajulas, and I think Matt Zepka is seeing them still. Maybe they can do something, but I do think that Jerome Bajulas is going to do something. He is always looking to see where he can overtake. Or are we going to see the gentle Jerome, where he's going to wait and wait till he does his perfect pit stop strategies?
Right, the one with naked aggression, or the one, with the sublime finesse. And week by week, we sometimes see a different Jerome Bajulas. He's looking pretty patient right now, and that's probably par for the course, given this is a long 1 hour race.
Have a quick look. I see no bigger overtakes currently happening. Rhodes is trying to see if he can get away with Wiley Cox and lose Ronald Method, but Ronald is holding on over there. And the fight behind there, Alexander Carver-Robbins with Daniel Smith and Ray Bartnikowski. Look at that. That's going to be an interesting one, and we see a little bit, they're all going to get so close now with this long draft.
Yeah, I'm looking again at that battle for P2 between Francois Schink and Logan McKenzie, and yeah, for sure, Francois Schink just has better long straight line speed than Logan McKenzie, but then Logan is much faster through these tight chicanes that are coming up right now. So this might be a situation where if the fuel window opens, where Logan may want to pit early to see if he can undercut Francois.
Yeah, we do see that James Carr is driving along here with Jerome Bajulas, and who's that in front of them?
It is David Bauer.
Oh, look at that. David Bauer is doing really well. Currently lost one position, but it's not a shame to get James Carr and Jerome Bajulas behind you. And here with one pit stop in this long race, you do have to time that one really well. Peter, we've talked a lot about pit stop strategies. What do you think is a good strategy right now?
Well, I think it's going to be different for each of these drivers. One thing that's so interesting about the Alpha Touring Challenge is that the pit window is exceptionally wide. And so, I think the window is probably opening up within the next 2 or 3 minutes and will stay open maybe for as much as half an hour. And so, these drivers can really pick and choose the best moment, just given where they think they might come out, what positions they might gain, track position. It's actually one of the most interesting things about these 1 hour Alpha Touring Challenge races.
Yeah, I like that strategy. Calls are coming in. We do see them all coming here in that long straight, and it is difficult to really overtake. Everybody has draft. We see Alex Alton having a look, but he's not going to make that happen. Tucks back in.
Boy, James Carr is really pressuring David Bauer. David Bauer is really defending on the inside, and that is giving Jerome Badulas a chance to make a pass coming out of turn 2. He's now side by side with James Carr, coming into the first of 4 chicanes. By the way, as a driver, this is a fun track if you like long, high-speed straights. It's a fun track if you like chicanes, but to really love this track, you have to like both of those straights and the chicanes, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, Peter, there's a question about draft. How much draft is there going on in these cars? And while we say that, we do look at Alton finally taking an overtake over there from Don Savio for 15th position.
Well, Pim, you and I have not had the pleasure of racing in these cars, but all of the drivers in this league tell us that there's incredibly strong draft effect from these cars. But of course, the problem here in this particular situation where you're in the train of cars is that if the car ahead of you, you might be getting the draft from the car ahead of you, but if the car ahead of you is also getting the draft, it doesn't really help you. And so it's really only most meaningful to the lead car of these packs or in a train of just 2 cars.
All right, we see Justin Rhodes getting a long draft on there, and he goes side drafting now and passes Wiley Cox. Look at that, really great move over there. And is now up 3 positions to that 8th place. That's a really nice overtake that he does over there. Clean.
Yep. And that's exactly how it's done, and that, long toe up to that turn 13, 14 chicane, that's known as the Quebec Wall turn 14. That's exactly how you do it. Now, there is a very strict off-track penalty if you take too much of the curb at that Quebec Wall. So again, just like you mentioned before, Pim, you have to be careful about that. Oh, and it looks like there is an incident. Cars hitting each other. Ronald Method and Wiley Cox. Looks like they're none the worse for wear. They just got a little bit sideways from the little.
Let's have a quick look. Yeah, they're going sideways. Luckily, he actually puts him straight up again. Doesn't lose any position or lose only 1 position, but can go back. But it will cost him a couple of incident points, and that's what you need to be careful about.
Exactly.
Now, let's have a quick look. Where's Matt Zepka on the moment? Well, Matt Zepka is completely now up to that little pack over there. Great to see him move on as we expected. While the race is going on, Matt Zepka will be quicker and quicker. And he is he's actually in that draft. And while I say that, I do want to go a little bit further back because we see Ray Bartnikowski and Sean Gert going at it. And they're now going side by side. That's not the quickest way up here, but let's see what they can do in that chicane.
Yeah, they'll be looking. Looks like Sean Gert is going to back out. He was just giving Ray something to think about in terms of the braking zone here coming to Quebec Wall. But we go through very neatly. A little further back from there for P16, August Blondel and Dom Savio. They were having a little bit of a battle. And, August Blondel, remember, was one of the drivers who started in the back of the field. It did not set the qualifying time. And now he's worked his way up 7 positions and is running in P16.
Yeah, and I do think that he has a different livery running, because I don't recognize this one. I do recognize the Go Faster, what is it? Go Faster, Go Farther. But
Right.
but I do think he has a new livery. Always nice to see him, and great that he's fighting over here with Dom Savio, relatively new up there. I think a little bit further back, Nick Beaver. Nick Beaver is now in his fight with Eric Statzer. I do think that he had a horrible incident in the beginning of the first lap. I haven't seen it, but it didn't look much on that one. His car looks relatively clean, so maybe he can still do something. We're only 17 minutes into this race, and he's looking on that inside line. Look at that. And he is passing him right there. Nice, clean pass again.
Very cleanly done. That is actually a very challenging corner in any car. The exit road there just runs out of space just much more quickly than you expect.
Yeah, we do see the fight is going back up with Wiley Cox and Daniel Smith over here. Wiley Cox is so close. Oh, and they're all... No, I thought they were going into the pit. But they're not, of course they're not.
Now, it wouldn't be shocking to see someone coming to the pits now, because the window, I think, is very likely to be open.
Well, if we talk about the pits, then we have to talk about one person. He's driving a little bit further back currently, but on the 22nd position, Jake Ashe. He is always our undercut
specialist.
Undercut special, yes. And then on the other side of the track is the Slug. Now 3.8 seconds from Francois Schenk and Logan McKenzie. Logan McKenzie is playing a different game now. I do think he's going to hold on a little bit more to Francois Schenk and just maybe do some fuel saving, because that can be important for the pit stops.
Right. In a 1 hour race, tire wear also becomes something that you want to manage. You don't want to burn up your tires too much in the early part of the race. I think most of these drivers now in these 1 hour races are opting not to change tires in their pit stop. We do see some, so it is something to watch out for. But I think most of these drivers, especially at the top of the field, are just trying to manage their tires and avoid the time penalty of a tire change in the pits.
Oh, look at this. Wiley Cox sees now Alexander Carver-Robbins right behind him. And it gets a little bit busy over there. If these guys are starting to fight, then that could be interesting, because then we can also see that people behind there, I think Sean Gert, Alex Alton and Ray Bartnikowski have an opportunity actually to make that one big group.
Yeah, I think if Sean Gerd, Alex Alton, and Ray Bartnikowski, and you could also throw August Blondel, who is really catching up as well to that group. If they could work together a little bit, I
don't think it's going to happen. I think Alex Alton is just going to go into a fatality. He's looking so feisty. Maybe that's the tight livery, but I'm not sure that he looks like he's gonna get some more up here.
It's an awesome livery, I have to say.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm going a little bit further. James Carr, he's getting really close now. I was actually thinking that he was going to do an overtake, but he still is behind David Bauer. And Jerome Barjolas is right behind him. And Matt Zepka. Come on, Matt Zepka. You're nearly out of the draft. We need to have you right in that group.
Yeah, and he is in the draft, but it's so hard to catch up because the cars ahead of him are also in the draft. And so, it just makes it the draft a little bit less effective, but he's closing up really good braking into the turn 11 hairpin. If he can get a good launch out on the straight and then brake well again for the turn 13 Quebec wall turn, he has a chance to really get closed up here.
Well, but if James Carr is not going to do it now, then he's never going to get it anymore. Look at this. He's going side by side. This is going to be an interesting one. How is this going to work out? He is side by side now. He's in front of him already. Oh, and he takes that fourth position right now. And takes that lead and is trying to see if he can get any closer to Logan McKenzie and Francois Schink. They're not that far off.
No, they aren't. And, I think the slug is the one that's sort of benefiting from all this because Francois Schink and Logan McKenzie, still, they're not exactly battling, but you can tell Francois Schink is having to keep one or both eyes in his rearview mirrors with Logan looming large in there. So they are starting to lose touch. In fact, they are, over 3 seconds behind the slug in the race lead. So it's turned into the slug in the lead, now approaching 3.5 seconds ahead of Francois Schink, Logan McKenzie, battling for P2 and trying to sort out P2 and P3. And then we have this train of 4 cars, James Carr, David Bauer, Jerome Bujulis, Matt Shupka. I'd like to go back to Alex Othon in P13 in that train of cars. And, comment here, Alex Othon, Ray Bartnikowski, Matt Shupka. One of the things that we love seeing are crossovers between the different race series that the CAVOK Racing Network broadcasts. And all of these are drivers who have either are currently or have driven in the Sunday Night Skippy League. And then last night, Pim, we had the pleasure of seeing Logan McKenzie in his first Sunday Night Skippy Formula 2 race, and he did extremely well, finishing in the top 5.
Yeah, and then don't forget about Sean Gert, with his team, Alexander Carver, Ronald Madhot. They're also from the BRL. So they're in the GT3 series. So it's like everywhere we see cross-pollination going around. Love always to see that. I think that's one of our goals. And while I say that, I do want to mention the Slug is actually setting up now his fastest time. So he is just speeding up. It's a 1:46. I do see Wiley Cox going into the pits.
Our first taker for the pit stop. And so that is about 24 minutes into this race. And comfortably within the refueling window.
Peter, let's drive along with the Slug. If you look at him, he is so nearly twitchy in the braking zones. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but I'm curious what you think of that.
Yeah, I'm riding in this car now. Yeah, indeed. So that probably means he's running with an exceptional amount of rear brake bias. That's allowing him to get very, very aggressive control of the understeer. In fact, it probably even turns this into a little bit of an oversteering car. Very important in the hairpin that he just went through, and of course all those chicanes. But he has to be very, very careful that he can control the car under braking.
You should look at it over here. When he goes into that long straight, he's full on speed. And now he's gonna have to brake over there. You will see that he's like twitching around, working against that car a little bit. But he makes that work for him. Very, very interesting to see, because that's a different driving style than Francois Schink and Logan McKenzie have on the moment.
Yeah, it's Pim, you and I in GT3 racing, we have very different comfort levels with moving the bias of the braking to the rear, and I think it's very clear here that the Slug doesn't mind a fairly aggressive setup.
Peter, we do see some more people going into the pit. Jerome Bajulas, Ronald Madhot, Alex Olton, Sean Gert. And I am looking if we see any tire changes. I don't see any tire changes going on right now. And while I say that, Nick Beaver is getting yet another position up here at Dam Savio. And they're going after... Ooh, that was very, very close. But Nick Beaver is the winner out of that. Look at that. Really nice position change.
And Nick Beaver is making a great newcomer to the league. And, he had that early incident on the first lap, but he's really made a good recovery and he's charging up the field.
Yeah, he's already 12 positions up. A person who is even more positions up is August Blondel. He's now currently 12 positions up, so great work from him going in here. But he needs to look out for Nick Beaver because Nick is behind there, and it's now 5.5 seconds, but that's going to go a lot quicker because Nick is really reeling him in. I'm curious to see when the Slug or Logan McKenzie or Francois Schenk are going in. And look at that. When I say that, I do see the Slug. No, the Slug didn't go in. Oh.
Yeah. It's...
I do hear somebody going into the pits, but that is, I think Joshua Wally who actually went into the pits.
Yes. Oh, looks like Matt Shepka might have hit the Quebec wall. I'm not sure if his car is okay.
Oh no. Let's have a quick look. He was doing so fine, and he came into that last corner. And that is the champion, the Wall of Champions, and...
Yes.
Well, his car is okay. His car is okay. I don't know how he did it.
He did not make contact.
He did not make contact.
Yeah.
His car is still okay, and we can still enjoy his car. I'm checking his car. He's doing fine. He did drop a couple of positions, so that will cost him. He's currently on that 8th position. But maybe he can catch up with Daniel Smith in front of him. That does mean that Justin Rhodes is now 5 positions up and up to that 2nd position together with Daniel Smith.
Back in P10, Ray Bartnikowski is the next person that August Blondel, who's up 12 positions, just to remind you. August now is really starting to turn the screws on Ray Bartnikowski. Ray is running some pretty defensive lines, trying to keep August behind him. Boy, you see August Blondel just seems to have much better grip coming out of these chicanes and is now closing in. I think he's going to try to see if he can outbrake him going into the turn 11 hairpin. Does get inside position and easily gains the position through that hairpin.
That was a nice move, and Ray Bartnikowski also gave him the opportunity. Didn't shut that door, and yeah, they kept it very clean. We do see that Francois Schenk is now also getting a little bit quicker. He's just put up the fastest time over there, 146.3.
Yes, and Francois Schenk is just getting past one of the back markers, Jake Ashe. Logan McKenzie dives in as well, trying to maintain contact with Francois. A name like Francois seems to go well at a place like the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, don't you think?
Yeah, he's gotta have it all in there. As a Canadian, you need to do well, but also James Carr is doing really well. A little bit further back over there, but still trying to see if he can hold on and maybe even catch up with Logan McKenzie. Currently 4.2 seconds behind. I still love that livery.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We haven't talked too much about Daniel Smith, but he's quietly been having a fantastic race in P7 right now. He's up 9 spots. And he's caught up to Justin Rhodes, who himself is also having a great race. And that's just about probably on this straightaway here out of the turn 11 hairpin. Is probably going to now turn into a 2-car battle for P6 between Justin Rhodes and Daniel Smith. Great driving, great race so far for both of them.
Yeah, I have to say, normally I'm not a fan of people who put in a Formula 1 livery on their car, especially not when it's a Red Bull or an AlphaTauri, but Rhodes is really showing us that it can happen, and it can do it very safely. Look at this, look, going really closely together onto the finish, starting yet another lap on lap 18.
You've always liked Justin Rhodes' driving style in the way that he races.
Yeah, his driving style I really appreciate, and they're doing quite nice.
Just as we predicted, that is turning into now a tight 2-car battle for that 6th position between Justin Rhodes and Daniel Smith.
Yeah, and that gives Matt Zepka also an opportunity to come back to them as well, because I do see that he's closing down that time a little bit every lap.
Yeah, that's something that some of the viewers maybe don't fully understand about auto racing. You know, we talk about the draft that gives you some speed benefit if you don't have to push as much air out of the way. But you know, when you are in a battle with another car and you're taking more defensive lines, those defensive lines mean that you're taking less optimal lines through the race course, and so you go slower. And so if you are a car trying to catch up to two other cars and those two other cars are battling, it could give you a chance to catch up a little bit more easily. And so we're seeing exactly that with Matt Shepka benefiting from this battle between Justin Rhodes and Daniel Smith.
Exactly, and if they actually come into a crash, there are no fast repairs in this league. So they really have to do it all by themselves. We're looking here a little bit from a distance to see if Daniel Smith is going to make a move. It's a hard defending there from Justin Rhodes. This is what I mean. I like that on that guy. He is really, really making an effort to hold his position over there, and it does work. I don't think Daniel Smith could actually take that position, or maybe he has a chance here on that first corner. What do you think, Peter?
Well, and you do see exactly the point that we were talking about. You know, Justin Rhodes taking a defensive line, you know, not using all the track, and successfully defending. But it is making both of these cars slower than Matt Shepka right now. So, in fact, just looking at the lap times, on the last lap, Matt Shepka, as a result of the battling here, was more than 0.2 of a second faster in that last lap. You know, meanwhile, back up front, the battle between Francois Schink and Logan McKenzie has picked up again. You do wonder if Logan McKenzie should be thinking about pitting here.
Okay, you know what it is with Logan, and I love it on him. He is such an fanatic about those tactics. He's already thinking. He knows that the Slug is not going to be in that competition for championship because he's way ahead. So he's already only thinking on that championship. He's not for, you know, it's for a reason that he's a third-time champion over here.
Yeah, it's a good management. Not
oh,
just
and we do see Daniel Smith and Justin Rhodes are going at it again. Matt Zepka is just thinking, yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it. And here they go. Daniel Smith, here's his prayers, and they're now going side by side over here. You do see that Justin Rhodes already is missing one mirror over there. And they're now going side by side. Oh, and Justin Rhodes is the one that says, no, I'm going into the pit. I'm going to make sure that that's not going to happen. I think a very, very smart move.
Yes, and that probably explains why Justin this time around wasn't taking that defensive inside line. So this could be a smart move. You know, Justin probably understood that he was sacrificing lap times by having to be so defensive. And so this gives him a way to maybe find some clear track, maybe find a different track, and regain some lap time. Meanwhile, the rest of the field, so we have Travis Lopanis also in the pits, Nick Beaver finishing his pit stop, coming back out onto the track. The rest of the field, aside from Francois Schick and Logan McKenzie, now is pretty spread out. We still have quite a few cars that have yet to stop for their pit stops. In fact, the top 10 drivers still have not pitted. That's everyone from the Slug in P1 all the way back to Ray Bartnikowski in P10. But the field has gotten fairly spread out on this.
I do see that Justin Rhodes has taken a long time on that pit. I think maybe you can have a look. I think he's changing tires because he did 35 seconds in the pit stop. That's going to cost him quite a bit of positions. Really hard to fight against that. We're currently driving with Matt Zepka, who is going to catch up with Daniel E. Smith. Maybe Daniel is going to go in, or is he going to wait? Because if he does, then Matt Zepka will meet him over here. And he will. Okay, that's going to be nice. This is going to be a battle.
Yeah, I was just watching Justin Rhodes, just a quick update on his pit stop. It looked like he had a little trouble getting firmly into his pit box. I think that caused a delay.
Oh wow, well that's a big delay for that kind of work. You see that Francois Schenk and Logan McKenzie are still in that second and third position, and it looks like Logan is just chilling around. I'm curious to see if he's going to make any moves to see if he can go past Francois Schenk. Oh, we do see some people, Ronald Method and I think that's his teammate Alexander Carver, are now battling side by side coming out of the pit.
Well, and since they have the same liveries, it's hard to tell who is who, but I think that's Alexander Carver-Robbins in front of Ronald Method right now.
No, Ronald Method is the one, you can recognize him on the purple mirrors. And I think Alexander has the red one, so Alexander... I always think Robbins is red.
You have an eye for detail that I don't have. That's great.
Well, Red Robbins, that's we all know that part. But and while we're talking about that, do have a look. Francois Schenk is going into the pit, so he's losing Logan McKenzie, and he's going to take a different strategy. Curious to see what Logan McKenzie now is going to do.
Yep, and David Bauer also now in the pits. And so as I was observing before, Logan McKenzie did seem faster in some of the key parts of the track. In fact, on the twistier parts, and Francois then seemed faster on the straights. And I don't know how those things add up together, but we'll get a sense of that after Logan makes his pit stop.
Yeah, and I'm glad we have Michael Zepp in the chat. He's actually correcting me. There is a fast repair. There's only one, so you need to do that very wisely. And while I say that, I think Torque Steer Team Racing is in. Matt Zepka, Ray Bartnikowski are both into the pit. And I see Daniel Smith already driving out together with Matt Zepka.
Boy, that ended up being great.
They're going to meet Ronald Method and Alexander Carver. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it could get a little bit crowded there.
All right, so what is the slug going to do? Is he going to go in?
And I believe the pit window is open for possibly another 5 minutes, so he can possibly do 2-3 more laps before pitting. Oh, Alex Othon has had an off in turn 2.
Look at this. I'm not sure how quick he was going into the pit, but that was he was like a rocket. He was truly like a rocket. And we immediately see Logan McKenzie going in. We see James Carr coming in. And now have a pay attention about Francois Schenk. Is Francois Schenk going to catch up to Logan McKenzie, or is Logan McKenzie going to be a lot quicker? And I'm curious what's going to happen to the slug, because he was really, really quick.
Boy, it always feels like when you're watching a pit stop, like they're standing still for such a long time.
Yeah, and Francois Schenk is getting already there. I see the slug is now going out, so he will be faster than that. But Logan McKenzie is going to lose traction of Francois Schenk. Francois Schenk did an undercut, and it worked really, really nicely.
Well,
look
and
at
that
they had the same at the same time in the pit, Peter.
Yeah. Very interesting. And, you know, I think that it probably meant that Francois just made up the time on the track on his outlap from the pits. You know, Alex Othon just a little while ago had a crash coming out of turn 2 and is in the midst of a tow.
Ooh, let's have a quick look what happened exactly on that beautiful livery car. And oh, yeah. And he kept it clean, also him. Oh, too bad he left for the track, because I do think his car was completely clean. But yeah, that does happen. We did enjoy his driving so far. He's still into the pit. And we do see Francois Schenk now... where is Francois? Yeah, Francois is getting closer to the slug. 2.8 seconds. I don't know what François Singh did, but he had a really good move over there.
Yeah, he had a fantastic pit stop. Now it'll be interesting, you know.
Oh, the
as
slug! Did you saw that?
Yes, making a pass there over Chase Gurr. Chase Gurr running right now in P22. Tried to facilitate the pass, but of course it was challenging, and now Francois Schenk will be hoping to do the same thing, but is encountering Chase Gurr in the tighter position.
We do have Alex Alton in the chat. He was mentioning that he has suspension damage and on those curves and chicane. So what looks like very easy actually hurt his car very, very badly.
Boy, that's really unfortunate. And, you know, some of these curbs at this track, as you know, Pim, do have the power to damage the suspension, even on these pretty robust touring cars. We've certainly broken our share of suspensions in both Formula 2000 and GT3 cars. You know, I just wanted to call attention to the battle for P9. That continues to be between the two teammates, Ronald Method and Alexander Carver-Robbins, with Ronald now in that P9, but Nick Beaver has caught up to them, and now that's turned into a three-way battle.
Yeah, you don't want to have Nick Beaver behind there because he is having so much speed. I'm just gonna have a quick look at his best time. Yeah, 146.4. He is over a second quicker than Alexander and Ronald Method. So we for sure will see an overtake happening very, very soon to Nick. But where is he going to place that? And he needs to pass both team members. That's going to be even more trickier.
I don't know. So this is a part where, you know, Ronald Method and Alexander Carver-Robbins might put aside their battle and work as a team. That could make it extremely difficult for Nick Beaver. And even if they don't work together, Nick has to be wondering if they will. And so he'll have to work exceptionally with a lot of care here. And it does look like Nick is going to try to be patient and wait for his moment. Just in front of them, Matt Shepka and Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith is just outbraked Matt Shepka coming into turn one.
Well, Nick Beaver just did it over there. Look at that. He was looking, and now he actually separated those two Crisper drivers. And Ronald Method is now the next topic. And Matt Shepka and Daniel Smith.
Daniel Smith made a great pass in that same spot over Matt Shepka. And so Matt's now going to try to chase down Daniel Smith and see if we can get that position back.
Let's have a quick
Daniel
look.
Smith is having a great race, up 9 spots from where he qualified.
A nice overtake from him as well in that last chicane. Curious to see. And he goes off. Look at that. He goes off. Well, that's going to cost him dearly. Now, I hope he's not going to hit Matt Shepka, and he's not. But that will mean definitely some incident points, but also maybe an off-track black flag. I'm not sure how that's going to count, but that's going to bring Ronald Method, Nick Beaver, and Alexander Carver completely back into the race over there.
Yeah, that's now going to turn into a 5-car battle, I think. You would think that Daniel Smith must have a slowdown penalty, at least.
I'm not sure. I haven't driven this track, so I don't know if there's and that's really the big difference. And look at this, Nick Beaver. Is Nick Beaver going to make that move? No, he is wiggling around. He's showing Ronald Method, I am faster than you. I have more control. Let me by. And here he's going to go, and he's going to do the same thing. He's going to try to do the same thing as he did with Alexander Carver. He's going to try, and now he's going to go for that overtake in that first one. Really late braking, and this is what he's done. But Ronald Method says no, and he holds that line, and really well done from Ronald.
In that turn too, Ronald Method really made his car so wide. It didn't leave the car's width on the inside, but didn't also leave as much room on the outside. Really making it difficult for Nick Beaver. But then in turn 6, Nick finally dives inside, takes control coming out of turn 7. And so now
Yeah,
Nick Beaver's up 13 spots, now sitting in P9. Next up is Daniel Smith.
yeah, and we have 15 minutes to go. A little bit further back, a little bit more in front. James Carr having a race on his own a little bit. Can see Logan McKenzie, but is too far away to actually catch up with him. We're always watching where the action is. A little bit worrying for the Slug because he's just running away. It's really the season for Slug. Either he crashes really hard or he wins and runs away with a victory. And currently it looks like he's going to do that. Francois Schenk is still on that 2.4 seconds. I don't think the Slug can make any mistakes, but is...
in P13, Justin Rhodes, your driver, Pim, is making a move on the straight on Ray Bartnikowski. And they're going side by side down the long back straight, and looks like Ray is going to concede the position. And now August Blundell, Justin Rhodes is now in P13 with August Blundell quite a ways up the road, maybe about 6 seconds up, but the next target for Justin Rhodes. Getting back to P7, Matt Shupka. Daniel Smith, I think, has fully recovered from that serious off track.
So he's ready. He's ready again.
Yeah, he's caught back up. And, that's turning.
Did Matt hit the wall over there, or was that just?
I don't know what that was. It was. I don't know how it looked for you. That looked a little bit like a netcode thing to me.
Oh, that is also still possible. I hope Matt Zepka is not injured. Doing really well on that 7th position. Currently 3 positions up. Not as great as Daniel, what we're currently driving with him, because he's 8 positions up. But then, don't look now, but Nick Beaver right behind there, he is 13 positions up and he is gaining on those guys. If they don't make a decision, Nick Beaver will.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're right, Pim. I think this is about to turn into a 3-car battle for P7 between Matt Shupka, Daniel Smith, and Nick Beaver. Boy, again, we kind of see in this battle between Matt Shupka and Daniel Smith, Matt, again, is the car that looks a little bit better in the tighter corners. But Daniel Smith seems to have a little better braking, a little better straight line speed. So it's just giving this sort of tug of war back and forth in the different parts of this track.
Yeah, and they do drive different cars, so that could also be playing a part in that. We really have to drive these cars, Peter, I think, to even get more information out of that.
Yep.
I do think we have 2 battles. The one is with Daniel Smith and Matt Zepka, who will do something. Daniel's definitely going to make a move. Another one that we still have is Justin Rhodes and Ray Bartnikowski. You know who we didn't talk about? Let's talk about Travis Lapanis.
Yeah, well, Travis is having a pretty good race. He's up 2 spots. He's running in P17. And he's running very, very consistent laps. In fact, I was just noticing, he's running kind of solid mid 148 laps, lap after lap. He's right now doesn't have any cars nearby him, but just running just solid, steady laps. And if he has a chance, he could try to close up the gap to Wiley Cox up ahead. He'll have his work cut out for him because there's only about 9 minutes left in the race.
Yeah, and Wiley Cox doesn't, it's not the race for him. He had that incident and is now really driving on that 16th position. Do have to say, like that car.
Yeah. Talking about the cars, Pim, I think that's the thing that is so cool about these touring cars. these are the same cars that you and I can just buy, at the local Honda dealer or the Hyundai dealer, Audi, and drive to the grocery store. In fact, we do see them at the grocery store.
I was just thinking, yeah, definitely. I'm looking, I think the Slug is now again driving away from Francois Schink, and Francois Schink is again having that 3-second lead from Logan McKenzie. It looks a little bit stalemate up here in the front.
Yes. Yeah, everything at front is being held pretty steady.
But then what happened to Daniel Smith? Because he was closing up to Matt Zepka, and it looks like Matt is gaining again a little bit on him, trying to get him out of that draft, because that is important.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if
Daniel probably made a small mistake and is now trying to get back again.
Yeah.
And for Matt, Matt made that one mistake, and for the rest they had an awesome race. Is currently still in that 7th position, 8 seconds behind Jerome Barjulas, who is now also driving on his own, coming here over finish line, really using all the way of that line. Still pushing and pushing. We're still having 8 minutes in there.
Just a quick update, Jake Gaucher went into the pits again. And,
yeah, I think you had a penalty. That's when you get those penalties for having too many incidents. You need to go drive through the pit lane, and that will cost you.
So, what we don't know right here is if there are front runners who are close to having that.
Oh! What happened over there? Who was that? That was Joshua Wally, I think, who hit the wall just before Matt Zepka.
Yeah.
A little bit of a scary moment because he's in a fight with Daniel Smith. And there's something to play for that, because it's 7th position that we go for. And of course running away from Nick Beaver, because he is still hunting for those guys.
Indeed he is. And he's pretty much caught up. So it's that is now a 3-car battle for P7. Yeah, I just wanted to call out James Carr, who's been quietly running in P4. He just set the purple lap of the race, 1:45.98, incredible time, really a qualifying level time, and it's he has quite a ways to go. He's about 5 seconds behind the lead pack of 3, but he is just blazing fast right now.
Well, we do see that Daniel Smith is now going side by side, and look at that, they're going 3 ways over here. Matt Zepka is still not done, because now needs to look out for Nick Beaver, who is completely over there as well. And suddenly Matt Zepka is dropping 2 positions with Daniel Smith and Nick Beaver in front of them. But Nick is going to fight. Oh no!
Oh.
Matt Zepka, stay on track. Hold them on.
Well, in fact, he had to straighten the wheel, I think, to avoid the car swapping ends. So he did good to save the car, not damage it.
Again, he saved that car very, very nicely. But he is losing now Nick Beaver and Daniel Smith, who are fighting it out in those last 6 minutes. I think Nick Beaver is not done yet.
Nick Beaver up now 14 spots from where he qualified. Of course, Daniel Smith is no slouch, up 9 spots. These two are the 2 hard chargers.
Look at this, look at this, look at this. They're going for it. Side by side on that exit. He's going to go on a long way. One thing is going to make it. He's going to go for that inside line. Oh. Well, this is really good for Matt Zepka, because Matt is just going back and back and back. And if Nick is not going to make the move over here, and oh!
They bump doors. And boy, that does now completely give Matt Shupka a chance to just completely recover and make contact with these two.
What about Daniel Smith? He just got doored, and he's like, I'm going to get you back, man. That wall of champions, do you want to see that up close? Because that's what's going to happen. They're going to go side by side. I'm going to predict to you. This is going to happen there. He's going to use his moment. But he needs to set it beside. No, he's not. He holds himself on to maybe one more lap, because we do have 1 more minute to go.
Yes, I think, with 4 minutes remaining, probably 3 laps to go in the race. Right, but this is the tight battle on the track right now between these three. This battle for P7. Nick Beaver has made his way up to P7, up 15 spots ahead of Daniel
with that
Smith.
incident, that's even the better one. Like, he just keep on moving back to front, and he is now up to that 7th position. But where's Daniel Smith gonna do? Because Daniel Smith is losing Nick Beaver. Nick Beaver is really, Nick Beaver hits the wall to even get more exit over there.
Yes, they are using every inch of the track and a little bit more.
Wow. And look at that, Matt
Zepka is now like showing all kinds of speed and really giving Daniel Smith a lot to think about.
All right, Matt Zepka, we need some naked aggression from you right now, because you're getting really tight, and Daniel Smith is holding on to Nick Beaver. This is not done yet. I want to have a quick look what the Slug is doing right now. And Francois Schink. I didn't see a white flag going on, am I right?
No, I don't believe so. And so we probably have 2 more laps. In fact,
right.
Yeah, just look at the clock. It should be the white flag the next time around.
Yeah, and don't worry. James Carr just put another fastest lap over there. He's now in the 145s.
I see Nick Beaver rolling through the pits, and so either
Oh, that's surprising. Nick Beaver is going out of that race, so that means that Matt Zepka is now going for that position number 7 with Daniel Smith.
It looks like Nick did have to fuel, so I think he ended up being 2 laps short on fuel, 1 or 2 laps short.
Well, yeah, then you have to think about when do you start your fuel saving. And he wasn't fuel saving, he was fighting as hard as possible. And now he's going all the way to the back again, or 12th position, and needs to fight with Rhodes. And I'm curious if Matt Zepka is going to come into that top 7. Daniel Smith is going to defend it hard. And we have a couple of more laps going on.
Yeah, indeed. The Slug, our race leader, is on the Casino Straight, coming up to the CAVOK wall. And with only a minute left in the race, he should receive the white flag signifying the last lap of the race as he crosses the start-finish line.
And that should be the signal for Matt Zepka to say, okay, let's bring it on. He's going to go really close, try to see if he can hold on, get that draft over here, and then see if he can get them in the final chicane. I hope that's going to be the tactic, and I hope it's going to work. Of course, Daniel Smith, we don't mean anything bad, but Matt Zepka has been a little bit our eyeball of CAVOK case, helping out us a lot, and also practicing apparently, because he's doing a really good job. But he's not going to get any closer.
Well, the 2 battles on track right now that are so close are this one, which is the closest, and then the battle for P13, currently held by Justin Rhodes, but with Ray Bartnikowski hot on his tail. Does look like Justin's starting to pull out a little more comfortable gap. So really, the battle on the track is Matt Zepka and Daniel Smith. Just to call at the top, the Slug is now approaching turn 11. Turn 11 hairpin for the last time. Francois Schink, Logan McKenzie, James Carr, David Bauer, all safely in their positions behind Jerome.
All right, let's have a quick look over there. But I do think that Jake Ashe and Chase Gurr are now in front of Daniel Smith and Matt Zepka. So that's going to be even more difficult, or even better, because of the draft for Daniel Smith. And they're now both passing over there, but it's going to be difficult. Matt is overdriving that car. Come on. He is losing time, and I do think that Daniel Smith is going to take that position. Let's go back to our race winners. The Slug has done this the whole lap and has done it again. Look at that. He's celebrating, and he can actually celebrate it quite while long because he will take that victory. Francois Schenk right behind him, and then Logan McKenzie on that third spot. A little bit further back, James Carr, really great of him. And then we see David Bauer had a little bit of a quiet race, but yeah, if you can get a top 5 in a quiet race like this, I want to have a quiet race.
That's the way I love to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great from him. And then Jerome Bajulas. We didn't see any naked aggression. We didn't see any sublime. We saw some patient driving from Jerome, and is coming here on a 6th position. Daniel Smith takes that 7th position. Fighting hard for that and really deserves it. And then we see Matt Zapka, really great as well, 8th position. Ronald Metholt, Alexander Carver comes in on 10th. And then we see our hard charger, August Blondel, on 11th coming in. Fantastic. Right, what's Rhodes doing? Rhodes is also coming in over there, 13th. Right behind him was Ray Bartnikowski. That was a little bit close yet. But yeah, that was the race, Peter.
Yeah, Sean Gerd coming across. And, you know, I think that this was really a fantastic race as we see, you know, Joshua Wally and Wiley Cox, our last 2 drivers coming across on the track to finish in P16 and P18, or P17, P18, Travis Lepenis and Eric Statzer. Phew, fantastic.
Wow, look at this, how close they can make it.
Yes.
It's nice to see when the battle goes on for position number 17, because that is important. Every position is important. And just that battle, great, and lots of clean driving. We do have some incidents, so I'm curious to see what the stewards will say, but always hard and fair, I think. And yeah. Let's have a quick look if we can see if we have anybody in the booth already. Because, of course, we want to hear the stories. What happened?
Well, one thing we saw here, you know, was the kind of push and pull. You know, some of the cars were great on the long straights, just seemed to have great straight line speed. Other cars seemed a little bit better going through those slower chicanes. So we just saw some really exciting kind of ebb and flow of these 2-car battles, sometimes 3 or 4-car battles throughout the entire race.
Peter, and we did saw some battling, and then some guys were just off in the woods and just went on for it, and all the way to their first position. The Slug is here in the booth. Congratulations with your first position.
Hey, thank you.
Yet again. It's either crash or just run from the front and go immediately win that victory or get that victory. I was wondering, I saw in the practice you weren't that quick, and then suddenly this qualification comes up and you're gone. What happened?
Well, I got pretty lucky in the quali run, but in the practice, I don't know. I was practicing off track, you know, like the wide lines. I was trying to throw people off a little bit, maybe.
That was a smart move. There was a lot of action going on. I saw it when I see you start the race. Actually, is that by purpose that you really have a lot of wheel spin?
You mean when I take off from the
warm up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to warm up those tires.
Wow. Well, that was visible. And then you took that first position, and you never lost it. Were there any doubts for you when you came back on track and Francois Schenk was getting a lot closer after the pit stops?
Yeah, no, not really. I knew that I was fuel saving as he was and as Logan was, obviously, too. So I knew I had a lot more pace in the car. I just had to unlock it, and I did. I think I gained about a half second total over the last stint there. So
yeah, and then you came in the last part where you just need to finish that race, just drive it out.
Plug, you know, for a while, Pim had put his camera on the broadcast, you know, in your cockpit of the car, and the thing that we noticed is is that your car seemed to be very unstable and squirrely under heavy braking. And so it looked like you had really dialed the brake bias back quite a bit. Can you tell us a little bit about any setup secrets that you used for this race?
Yeah, I'm running about 35% brake bias lately.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
the rear brake bias, or the rear ABS, as long as it doesn't activate, you can run it as far back as you want, and it really gives you some amazing rotation on entry.
Well, it certainly seemed like you weren't suffering from some of the same understeering challenges that some of the other cars were. And it did make it very exciting to watch you under heavy braking.
Yeah, that's for sure. And of course, his teammate was having a good look in the beginning, right behind him over there. Logan McKenzie, welcome in the booth. Welcome again. I think you did some great moves for the championship. How was your race?
I don't want to sound spoiled and be disappointed about a third place finish, but coming out of the pits almost 4 seconds behind Francois was pretty deflating. It was a very strange race with how all three of us were fuel saving hard, and we didn't really know where the pace was going to be coming out of the pits, but we knew that once we came out of the pits, it was going to be pedal to the floor. We're all pushing.
Logan, this is Peter. In the early part of the race, maybe the first half of the race, it looked to us like you maybe had pace over Francois in the chicane and twisty, technical parts of the course, but that Francois appeared to have a little bit better straight line speed on the long straights. Was that the way it was for you on the track?
Well, we were both fuel saving. Anytime he was pulling away from me on the straights, I was just shifting into sixth gear early or had the gas like halfway down. So I'm actually going to look at the replay of the pit stop and see how much time I lost just from I was being careful entering my pit stall because I was out of fuel and didn't want to blow past my pit stall and have to tow.
Right.
But yeah, I was fuel saving. I could have gone around him, but he was fuel saving, and he would have just started using me to fuel save, so I didn't want to pass him.
Well, it is incredibly interesting how strategic these 1 hour format races are. Incredibly wide refueling windows, and it's so interesting to hear how all of you are so thoughtful and strategic about this. So, how are we looking ahead now to the next part of the season? Where are we next week?
I think the next string of races is incredibly strong. We go to Road Atlanta, we go to Watkins Glen, and then Brands Hatch. 1, 2, 3. Those are probably some of my favorite tracks on the schedule.
Yeah, Logan, I was just thinking if we're going to Road America and Road Atlanta, then that's going to be a home track for you.
Yeah, I already met my goal of winning a race here. I think that was in season 2. And then at Brands Hatch, I've won at all these tracks. I won at Watkins Glen in season 1 and Brands Hatch last season. So I know I got pace at all these tracks, and I find all of them really fun to drive. So it'll be nice after the last couple tracks. I've just been really struggling and hurting.
I'm just thinking, you haven't won anything yet in this championship, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
You're leading like very, very far, but not winning yet. So that's gonna hurt a little bit in your brain. That's gonna be one of the things that we still need to see this season.
It's frustrating. My strength is definitely in the consistency of my finishes. Ever since switching to the Elantra, I don't think I finished lower than 4th. But it'd definitely be nice to take a win. I'm disappointed I wasn't able to get around Jacob at Lime Rock last week. This week, Slug just had too much pace there at the start of the race. But We'll see. I don't
Well-
need a win to win the championship.
Well, Logan, I'd like to register an official protest against you because in your first Sunday Night Skippy Formula 2 race, you not only beat me on track, but you beat me easily on track, and so I think that shouldn't be allowed.
I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun beating you. In fact,
So that means that we're going to see you now in the skip as well.
yeah, I'll try to make it over there as much as possible. That was a whole lot of fun. I mean, I love the Roval, so that was great to jump in there and come to terms with the Skippy. I didn't have any practice prior to that session, so
Rub it in.
It's gonna be even worse. Well, we enjoyed it very much. We're talking about it a lot here at CAVOK Racing Network. That we think it's important to have those community and also to have that cross pollination. So great to see you over there. You're doing awesome in this championship. Let's see how you can do in that skip. So curious to see how you can do in our next race on Sunday. Any last words for you, Logan? Any shout outs?
Just a shout out to the incredible teamwork that Slug and I have been able to pull off this year. Both times he's won a race, we've started close to each other, and I've been there running interference as he's run away. Same thing happened last year when he won at Watkins Glen. I just held the field off for him as he ran away. So it's really fun to do team stuff like that, and the whole time this race we were checking back and forth on what our fuel levels were. So shout out to Slug for his performance tonight, and shout out to you guys for this broadcast again.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. The Slug has left the booth, probably drinking some champagne somewhere. But congratulate him for an awesome race. And yeah, it was great to see you guys. I think this championship didn't start that great for your team, but is really coming together. And I'm curious to see if François Schink, maybe Jerome Bajulas, and of course we have Wojciech Zwidovic. They're all coming back, and they're gonna hunt your team. But great race. I want to thank everybody for watching. It was awesome to do this again. It's always a little bit of an extra here on the CAVOK Racing Network to have these fun races, and enjoyed it a lot. Peter, we will be back at Wednesday, the Underdog Racing League. Am I correct?
That's right, and we're in the midst of the playoff season there, and then looking forward to Sunday with the Bonfire Racing League and their playoff run, and then finally Sunday Night Skippy. What a great lineup.
Looks like we have a full-time job over here. Well, that's awesome.
Well, that's why we get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, that's why we get to pay the big bucks. Everybody who watches, thank you very much. Have a great week, and we will be back on Wednesday.